SI 1.1 Institutions and 1.3 Instruments of Governance. It is a well-known fact that Venezuela has a corrupt system of centralized government which affects every agency, ministry and institution that currently exists within the territory. Under the guise of populist efficiency, they have been removed control mechanisms that have traditionally separated the functions of the institutions, apologizing in its left procedures of ideology. For this administration, the current one, the end justifies the means, and according to them, the goal is the maximum amount of happiness of the group, with which have carried out a range of expropriations and arrangements to cripple individual production capacity of common citizens, all in order to artificially create a citizen-state dependence that did not previously exist within a framework of liberal private production protected by the rule of law. We will now have a close-up of one of those institutions which was successful in their performance until the arrival of the 21st century socialism. PDVSA, PDVSA. Initially a state company dedicated to the exploit of hydrocarbons, Petróleos de Venezuela, Sociedad Anónima, reached at the time to be one of the top 5 companies of the world. Its primary function was the exploration, extraction, processing and distribution of oil, gas and related industries. Institutionally, its occupation was merely commercial, being the largest source of foreign exchange and therefore revenue to the government. Its main function was to invest the profits in maintenance and increase production capabilities, delivering the remaining dividends to the government as its main shareholder. It has the largest proven oil reserves in the Western Hemisphere. But when the government arrived, and after several efforts of running food distribution programs, the government delegates to this company that function, creating PDVSA, which reaches even to the case of international exchange of oil for various needs. It will thus make use of existing human and financial resources of this institution and supply a proper function to the state to transform it into a mechanism of government. What was the deal? Institutionally, they have to deliver the resources of this company, PDVSA, to the state, and then the state has several mechanisms, most of them in the hands of the government, but also they have to distribute for several institutions which are in hands of opposite hands, by instance, governors or municipalities or so. So they wanted to create a parallel state. There was even cases when they have an opposite governor, they put an officer, individual, with a lot of cash from the state. But how could they do that? They cannot put the money on the official political party. They do that now, and at the time they cannot do that. So they took the company PDVSA, they painted it in red, they even call it red PDVSA, the new PDVSA, the human PDVSA, social PDVSA, and they transformed this institutionally company, transform it into an instrument of their own political party. At the moment of this establishment, when they create this PDVSA of food distribution, it was hard to oppose or even criticize such initiative. How can you criticize that they are being effective on importing food for the poor? How can you do that? But it didn't take long to came under public scrutiny the mismanagement of those shipments. In particular, 130,000 toneladas of food which have been rotten into containers. The pudreval case, which is a Spanish pun of rotten, podrido, and pedreval. Then it came the electoral base of this new company, Pedreval. It was established a big media campaign, and while other government measures dismount and attack private domestic food production, they strengthened and broadened the base of import and distribution of this new company. Large supermarket chains was expropriated and renamed, like Bicentenario, Pedreval, etc. Premises was established in all communities. Now the major supplier of food in the country was Pedreval, and they made sure of everybody knows that the government was feeding everybody in the country. The goal was that nobody could be fed without the government involvement. While private offer is becoming increasingly expensive and it even disappears, the first milk products imported and subsidized by the state initiative become commonplace. In electoral campaign, government candidates took Pedreval campaigns as part of its core activities. They are going to political campaign, they took a whole campaign of Pedreval and sale and even giving food, masquerading their political campaign as an institutional activity. It excludes every kind of oppositional party militants of them. You cannot even go to buy anything if you have a hat or a shirt in the color of an opposite political party. In addition to that, the technical staff of the company, engineers, geologists, alike, all sorts of professionals, are sent to the communities as social workers or filling the numbers of marches and other electoral activities that the government uses to demonstrate popularity, because while the opposition expresses their numbers through crowd the civil society, the government mobilizes their payroll under the threat of dismissal. They also, of this new approach, they make an effort on paying sports. And there was a case on which Empresas Polar, which still is the major private food company, they make payments for the national football team. In an authoritarian move, they put pressure on the Venezuelan Football Federation to make them withdraw the concession and put PDVSA as the major sponsor of the team. They also have thrown a number of money on a Formula 1 racing driver used for having an international arena of sponsorship. Well, the lack of productive reinvestment led the company to remain well behind their schedules of expansion. Its maintenance was neglected for years, creating the conditions for several disasters, being the explosion of the Amoy refinery, one of the most, but they also have several disasters in several other refineries. But then it came to real debacle. The stabilization of the Iraq situation, which enabled them to start oil extraction, the Iran deals, and the North American technologies of production increased international offer and dropped prices, affecting countries who cannot expand their production, such as Venezuela. After years of an organizational restructuration, taking in the high oil prices, the destruction of the whole private infrastructure of food production relying on these prices, there was a global phenomenon, and PDVSA wasn't able anymore to increase their offer. The whole myth of socialism was grounded on high petroleum prices, being calculated their gross income in $1 million in all this period. But in these hard times, they don't have money for buying food. This led to huge shortage, scarcities, even famine, and a discourse, an official discourse of economic war which nobody buys. President Maduro even says in one of his speeches that God will provide, even. Therefore, in September 6th of 2015, the United Socialist Party of Venezuela, or PSUV in Spanish, had a massive defeat in parliamentary elections. Instead of a peace approach with this newly opposite majority National Assembly, or revert the measures of state apparatus in order to improve the private production, the new solution for the government a few days ago was to more institutional chaos, a military-based oil extraction state company. In conclusion, there is a whole institutional chaos in which the Venezuelan Republic has been taken by assault. The populism, the manipulation, the propaganda shape the relation between the citizens and their rulers, trying to achieve the goal that only through evidence they could be fed. But by coincidence, global cycles, and Paris conspiracy of the hand of God, the international oil prices are opening an opportunity for the democratic forces. Now the confrontational group from peaceful resistance to institutional struggle between establishing powers. There is little more until we do a change of government here. Thank you very much.